Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing good and staying safe. My name is Pradeep, also known as Distill Stills on the internet, and I'm a freelance photographer. I'm also a coffee enthusiast. And that's pretty much the direction I think that this channel is going into. I got this cap from Moment. They call it a dad cap. And yeah, when I saw this embroidered stuff on the top, coffee and cameras, it's really clicked with me. It spoke to what I am and what I do, and I had to get it. Yeah, but this spoke to me. I'm going to keep this aside for the moment. This channel recently passed about 100 subscribers, and Google, YouTube sent me an email about it, celebrating the occasion, and it felt really nice. Thank you very much for supporting me till I figure out what I'm doing on this channel, and I really appreciate all your engagement and comments, shares, likes, everything. My recent videos about the XE4 and some of my older videos about, for example, the carbon steel pan, have been getting a lot of engagement, comments, questions from you guys, and that makes me really happy. I really appreciate all the engagement you guys are giving me. If you think that my videos and what you see on this channel has brought even a little bit of positivity to your life and has got some information delivered to you, then I'd appreciate if you'd subscribe, like, and share this video. I'm a coffee enthusiast, and in pursuit of that, I've been mostly doing filter coffee. My whole brew bar over here is geared towards filter coffee, but I've been looking towards espresso for a bit now, but I didn't have a proper grinder for that, and then I bought this. So this is the 1zpresso JX Pro. Let me tell you why I bought this and my experiences about this grinder in a little bit, but first let's see the unboxing of this. You saw in the unboxing that there's not much that comes in the box with this particular grinder from 1zpresso. There are other grinders from 1zpresso which have much more bundled in the box, but as their moniker says, the simpler the better. Whatever is in this box is more than enough to be functional for this grinder. So why did I buy a new grinder? I used to have a Time & More C2 hand grinder, and it's a really good grinder. It's really fast, it's pretty consistent. But I went home to visit my dad, and he was using my old Instakarpa grinder, grinding for a minute and a half, 2 minutes for like 20 grams of coffee. And I was like, that grinder is old now, you keep my grinder. And I've also been looking into, like I said, I've been looking into espresso and brewing espresso at home. So I'm looking at some home espresso brewers. Maybe I'll share that with you guys when I get some of those. But for that I needed a grinder which could do espresso grinds really good. And the Time & More C2 was not espresso grind range a grinder. I mean, you could produce espresso grinds, but dialing would be very difficult because it had limited grind settings, hence this new grinder. So these are the things I like and dislike about this grinder, because some of them go hand in hand. I like that this is really well built. I like that it's really solid, but that makes it a pretty heavy grinder. So it's not your regular travel grinder. This is meant to stay on the desk or on your brew bar, but I guess I can travel with it in a pinch. I really like the crank handle. It has a really good design, and I love the wooden pommel on the end. It rotates freely, and this length does make sure that it grinds pretty fast, but I wish that it was a little bit longer, or maybe designed a little bit differently, so that it was a little bit easier to grind. I find that starting the grinds on this grinder is a little bit difficult compared to my C2 which I had before. I like the 48mm burrs in this. They are really large, super well constructed steel burrs, and they produce the most consistent grind quality that I have seen so far in any hand grinder. My experience is limited, but from what I have seen, this can produce really good quality grinds, especially for filter coffee. I'm yet to brew any espresso with this, so I will know more about that when I brew espresso with it. I like that it has a really good grip, but I don't like this grip, the rubber thing on the top. It has a really huge branding. It helps to grip, but it has a really huge branding. I sometimes feel that when I'm grinding, the catch cup does come loose a little bit, but it's fine. I have now figured out the right way to hold this hand grind. You don't really need to hold both the catch cup and the body of the grinder to grind. Just the body will do. It's not going to fall off. I like that the interior is clear. The problem with the interior though is that it sticks to all the fine grinds, and it may be difficult to get them off. The cross droplet technique does help to reduce the number of fine grinds sticking to the grinder, and reduces the retention, but it doesn't completely get rid of it. It's still there. Other thing I like about this is the amount of grind settings on this. Like, it's really mind-boggling. And I'm brewing filter at 4 rotations and at 0. So there are many rotations in this dial. I like that the dial is on the top and I don't have to open the catch cup to reach the dial. The dial has many rotations, and each rotation has 10 marked divisions, and there are 3 clicks in between each marked division. So that's like 40 clicks per rotation, and that's really a lot of adjustments. Another thing, the problem with this dial is whenever you pour coffee into the chamber, the coffee will sit on this dial adjustment and you have to manually push them into the grinder. It just adds a couple of seconds to your workflow, no other difference in that. Yeah, I like that the cover of the body is clear. You can see the beans through it, and it is easy to put on and take off. The C2 had a little bit of it was difficult to take it off this easily, but this is good, and it stays there solidly. It won't fall off by itself unless you pull it out. The capacity of this grinder is really good. I believe it can hold up to 40 grams of coffee in the main chamber, and the equal amount of grounds in the catch cup as well. The C2 had a limited, I could grind comfortably 25 grams, and if I was sharing coffee with like 2 or 3 people, that would be a limitation. So that limitation I won't have with this grinder. Let's go ahead and brew some coffee. The capacity is about 35 grams. And I have to each time move these beans manually from the middle of the grinder to the side. This is one disadvantage with this coffee grinder. This is a pretty dark roasted, medium dark roasted coffee, so I'm guessing that if we had a little light roasted coffee, it would be a little more accommodating, because darker you roast, the more size of the beans. Let us see how long it takes to grind about 16 grams of coffee. Because this is a medium dark roast, I am doing it at a relatively lower temperature, 88 to 90 degrees Celsius. Water. I'm brewing 16 grams of coffee. Alright, so that's how I brew with the 1zpresso JX Pro, and yeah, it fits really well in my workflow, and the coffee that it produces and the grinds that it produces, I don't have any complaints with that, and I really love how consistent it is, and it produces a really balanced cup of coffee for me. I love the taste that comes out of the grinds from this grinder. Those are all the thoughts I had about the 1zpresso JX Pro. I hope that some of it was helpful to you, some of it was informative to you. If you have any questions or any suggestions about my workflow and about getting into brewing espresso at home, please hit me up in the comments below, and I would love to talk to you more about coffee, grinders and photography in general. Stay safe and see you soon. Take care. Making videos on this side and I could feel satisfied that I'm making something and I'm putting something out in the world, but if you don't see it and if you don't engage with it, like it, and if it doesn't add a little bit of positivity to your day, then the circle is not complete. It's only when you engage with this content that I feel that the circle is complete, and it completes my purpose on YouTube. If I had to use this as a moniker for this channel, I would probably remove the cameras and substitute it with something like photography, imagery or something like that. Yeah, but this spoke to me.